Hello everybody, welcome to Nostalgia Goggles. I'm Chris, also known as Retro Gaming Nerd, and I think it's very obvious that Super Smash Bros. Means a lot to me. I've already talked about the first one, but I mean, just look at our name. We're Smash Pack, and my old channel was Stupid Smash Bros. So with that being said, Super Smash Bros. Means a lot to me personally. I'm not into the, tier lists or any of that stuff, but I do love the franchise, and the game that really made me love it is this one. Super Smash Bros. Melee was the shit back in the day, and that was really it. It was a shit back in the day. I don't know if it holds up that well in comparison to the others, especially since we have Ultimate out, and that one is an awesome game. So with that being said, let's ask the question, does Super Smash Bros. Melee still hold up today? Well, let's get into it. So when it gets right down to it, there is no story for Super Smash Bros. Melee, obviously. So with that being said, let's move on to the gameplay. Super Smash Bros. Melee goes above and beyond its predecessor with multiple gameplay modes. There's the classic mode, which is the traditional Smash, including Break the Targets, a new bonus game where you're able to collect the trophies, which I'll get into in the presentation segment. Race to the Finish, which transitions to some fight with a metal character. The metal character is always kind of random, it seems, which after that enters you into a fight with Master Hand or Crazy Hand depending on the difficulty. There's Adventure Mode, which is very similar to Subspace Adversary and Smash Run, but the real big difference is that it takes place within Nintendo-based worlds. There's also Event Match, which is a bunch of matches with specific caveats. There's the Stadium Mode that has the challenges such as Multi-Man, Home Run, Break the Targets, which I've already mentioned earlier, but the thing about Break the Targets that I didn't mention is that they're catering to specific characters, so there's none to my knowledge that are carried over. And then there's the traditional Smash game, but I really don't want to get too deep into that because it's what we all know. It's something that has been Super Smash Bros. Traditionally. It's where you get your 4 friends together and you fight them. Now the difference with this one is that there's multiple modes within it, such as Coin, Team, Stock, and the traditional stuff. Coin, I believe, is the new one, plus there's also a tournament mode, which is really nice. Too bad Nintendo doesn't like tournaments. Hey guys, so there's a few things that I forgot to mention within this game, and there were 2 specific modes that I just completely forgot to mention. One of them is Special Melee, and Jesus Christ, Nintendo, what are you guys doing? Nintendo, hey, listen to me. What happened here, okay? Because that's a lot of shit. And I mean that, like, positively. Special Melee is a lot right there. I completely forgot about it. I didn't even play it as a kid, but looking at it now, holy shit, just look at the list. I'll have it up on the screen. This is what it is. It's very self-explanatory what it is, but like I am very impressed that there is this much in this game. Now, this might be in the other Smash Bros. Games as well, because once again, I am very, I would argue, I guess, neglectful of all the stuff you can do in Smash, which is why this show exists, because I can look back at all the stuff you can do. But oh my god, that's a lot of stuff, positively. With this alone, it makes me kind of have to, like, acknowledge that this game is great, because that's a lot of stuff. That is a lot of fun. If you get bored of the main game, just go to this. And then the other one I forgot to mention is Custom Rules, which I feel like is what it sounds like. The custom mode isn't really anything super special, especially since you can get to it for the traditional Melee itself menu, but it's still cool to have. My god, I can't believe that I forgot these. I can't believe that I missed Special Melee. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. With that being said, though, let's get back to the episode. Anyways, I think that the game is crazy as a follow-up and almost incomprehensible because of where we started to where we are now. Super Smash Bros., the first one, was really good for the time, but I feel like this one is really good now. I think that there's going to be a little bit of a curve coming from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate or even Super Smash Bros. 4, but I feel like that's because it's kind of almost argumentatively a more competitive game there, where this one is more of a party game. And I know that that might sound like a sin, but when you become a top tier player, which I am not, obviously look at my gameplay, you can definitely do some top tier things. But I think that outside of that, this game gives so much that it's kind of just mind-blowing. I remember wasting my time on Adventure Mode because that concept was awesome to me. I absolutely loved being able to see Link in Mario's world or see, the events that play out through that. I absolutely love the way that this game plays. One of the things I also forgot to mention is this game definitely has unlockable characters, which is traditional for Smash, but the way that you unlock these characters is kind of odd. There's multiple ways to unlock characters, and some of them are a little bit cryptic. With that being said though, I completely understand where the whole Sonic rumor came from, because how you unlock characters is very cryptic, and the multiple ways you're able to do them is either through events or just randomly playing the game, because that'll happen too, or doing a very specific thing. And I think that that is really good and really nice, and it keeps you on your toes, but like, God, it's a little hard sometimes. It's kind of hard to do some of them, especially now if you're, and I know that it might be illogical, but I have a fear of breaking my consoles or something happening, so keeping a console on for like a long time, which is one of the requirements to unlock a character, is kind of terrifying to me. I don't know why as a kid it was easier for me to like sit and leave it on for that long and just hope that nothing happened, but as an adult there's just too many things that could definitely happen. Like I said, this is remedied by having the event and having them unlock your characters, but still, you know, it's not really even an issue. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think that the way that they did unlockable characters is good. It keeps you on your toes, but I could also see where like you can look at it and go, no, I don't want to do that. With that being said though, the gameplay and everything else with this game is super solid and it works out very well. The thing that I think works out very well is the next segment, which is presentation. This game was jaw-dropping when it came out, and it still looks great today. From the unforgettable intro on, this game comes out of the gate swinging with presentation. There is this attention to detail that is unique to the Super Smash Bros. Series. It doesn't hesitate on building on something new, while paying homage to the past. I love that the trophies were added, and the attention to detail extends to this part of the game as well. The backgrounds and levels are delightful, and the music has a lovely orchestral quality, despite the fact that they were not actually orchestrated. This game has made an unforgettable experience that was worth revisiting on my part. With that being said though, none of that really matters if you can't get your hands on the game. So, let's move on to accessibility. Super Smash Bros. Melee only came out for the Gamecube, and with that being said, this game has had a major pricing journey. As of now of recording in August 2024, this game will set you back $30 to $60, which is amazing. I remember when this game was a little bit more expensive, but that might be just because, you know, fluctuating prices. This game really does fluctuate, so if you're gonna get your hands on it, I think now is definitely the time. 30 to 60 bucks is not too crazy for the game. I do hope one day NSO eventually has a GameCube one, and I hope that this is definitely on it. But I mean, until that day happens, or until they do a re-release, this is a perfect way to play the game. There is other means, but I don't feel like getting into it. Make that how you will. But I feel like if you are definitely curious about this game, you should definitely check it out. The price is there. With that being said, let's move on to the goods and the bads. This game is definitely a great introduction point to Super Smash Bros. And if you have never played it, or if you know somebody that has never played the modern games, this is a great place to get them started, especially since there is so much to do within this game. There is so much to do, and with that so much to do, it makes it super fun to come back and play. And I think that that's something that Super Smash Bros. Itself has been missing for years, is that major replayability factor. I absolutely love and remember loving, even back then, the adventure mode. I really wish Nintendo did something like that. We do not need Subspace Emissary. We might need Smash Run. I think Smash Run was the one on the 3DS and that one was good. But I think that maybe instead, to show off your IPs, Super Smash Bros. Should return with an adventure mode, because that was glorious. Outside of that, I love the twists and turns of this game. I loved the event matches. I loved everything about this game. Now, it doesn't mean that it's perfect. It's just, this is definitely one of those games that is gripping you with nostalgia if you were there. And if you weren't, I think you can still get that love as well. The character roster definitely is a lot more closer to the chest, of course, because this is the last one to be as close to the chest, very much being exclusively Nintendo characters, but I think that that's pretty much what makes it great. Another thing that makes this game great is I absolutely love the trophies. The trophies are beautiful, especially for somebody like me that's all about accessibility in video gaming history. I absolutely love the fact that they tell you where these games are from, and they kind of half-ass it. They say only in Japan. It would have been nice to give us at least a year alongside it, but either way, it doesn't really matter, because there's a lot of only in Japan things here. But, like, I think, all in all, I definitely like the way that that does that. I like the way that it presents itself. In truth, I love this game. This game is great. And it's really kind of an unforgettable experience, and something that I wish the other Smash Bros. Had. Now, that might just be because I've played this one longer than the other ones. Of course, it was between this one and 64, but this is just, I don't know, this is just a great game, and I really love it. But then again, there's a giant bias here. With that being said, no game is perfect. I don't think me saying anything negative about this game, no matter how late or heavy it is, I don't think people are going to be happy because I know that this game is heavily beloved. But with that being said, if you're somebody that played Super Smash Bros. Ultimate or for the Wii U or DS, which I'm just going to say for, this game might be a little rough to go into, but that's because Ultimate and 4 are just very different games. I feel like the transition point from Melee to Brawl is easier. Like, I feel like if you played Brawl, you can go backwards because Melee is objectively better, in my opinion. But I think that if you're a modern player, you might not appreciate this one as much, and I think that's kind of a shame. Competitively, I don't know exactly how easy you can jump into this game, but I do think that that's me also kind of being unfair, right? I think another thing that I would say is a bad about this game, and I feel like even bad is overdramatic, is how many hoops you have to jump through to unlock certain characters. There's always two ways to do it. You can do it through event, or you can do it through the super cryptic ways to do it. And is that bad? No. Especially not today, especially since nowadays you can just go online and see how to do it, but asking you to keep your GameCube on for a day is crazy, you know? I mean, it's doable, but like GameCubes aren't as frequent as they were back in the day, and even then that was, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's just, I feel like there's so many things that can go wrong with having your GameCube on all day. And I mean, of course, that's me being super protective. After all, I murdered a GameCube back in the day on accident. One of my friends pulled the controller too hard and it took the GameCube off of the place it was on and fell and it murdered it. But that might just be me. With that experience, that might be me being overprotective of the GameCube, but I think leaving it on for a day, or not playing it for a day, that's a different thing, but leaving it on for a certain amount of time, or playing it for a set amount of time is, I don't know, it's just crazy to me. It's just crazy to me, I don't know. And I feel like I'm harping on it too much, but realistically, at the end of the day, there's not too much bad with this game. I feel like if you're somebody coming from the newer game, that's really it. I feel like that's the biggest issue you might have, and even then, I might be overprotective of that. You might just be able to get the swing of it, but you might. I don't know. I think it's great, but I've also been playing this game for years. I am nowhere a professional. But realistically, I don't know, I might be being too overprotective for newer people that are trying to get into this game. But all in all, I think that this game just really is super solid, so it's very hard for me to sit down and go, oh, well, this is negative. So with that being said, let's move on to the final thoughts. So, is Super Smash Bros. Melee worth playing today? Absolutely. I think that this game has something that the others absolutely do not have, and that is all the other game modes, such as the single-player mode where you're able to play within the other levels of Nintendo games, and also just the roster at the time and how you're able to unlock it, and also all just the game modes in general is what makes this game worth it. And I feel like the presentation as well. This one does an absolutely great job. Now, it's not perfect, and if you are used to Ultimate or 4, yeah, there's a little bit of learning, but this one's just absolutely worth playing today because, like I said before, this one brings to the table something that the others do not. So, with that being said, what is your favorite Super Smash Bros. Game? Obviously, I think that this is one of my favorites, but I think Ultimate's up there, mainly because we have my favorite characters like Terry Bogard and Cloud and also Sora. I mean, just look back here, you can kind of tell why I like that one, but this is the second closest one. So with that being said, what's your favorite Smash? And I'll see you guys next time here on Nostalgia Goggles. Please subscribe and comment and all that stuff. Bye!